pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to executive session, and then I will report public comment. I'm going to have a moment of silence for a longtime 911 operator, recently retired and suddenly passed away of a heart attack. So I'm going to take a first time Sharon. Did a great job for us. He was a long-time county employee, 911. Our sympathies go out to his family and friends and coworkers. So like that, one more time. Okay, let's move on to meeting with public comment. Morning, Director. Good morning.
George Stankovic, Palo Alto. Once again, I'm here for the senior citizens and veterans. I hope and pray that most of them are getting their appeal notices, the ones that want to appeal.
Well, George, because we had the Office of Senior Services put the appeal forms and pamphlets at every senior center.
I know that.
And we're also sending them to every single veterans organization in Schuylkill County with the pamphlet, with the appeal form.
And I'm sure they appreciate it. Thank you for that.
Made sure they got out to everybody.
So, yeah, but still, there's those ones that don't come to the senior centers and don't know about it, because there's different programs out there they don't never heard of. You know, the food program for the farmers. 90% of them that come into the center, they don't even, they just found out about it. And if it wasn't from a friend or somebody telling them, they never know. This one lady said, how long is this gone? I said, it's gone on for years. I said, but it is hard to get the information. So word of mouth is what's really doing the job. So I just want to say that, please, the ones that haven't, make sure you have to have an appeal form into the assessment office, or they won't hear your appeal. So you got to get an appointment date and everything like that. They'll set some time up for you. Yes, you only get 15 minutes, I heard at the meeting, but I hope and pray that each and every one of you that are out there that hear my voice or hear somebody talking to you about it, please, if you're really disgusted. I had a lady that I know that came into the center. Her assessment on the old assessment was $15,000. Now it's $134,000.
Mine's $207,000.
There you go.
$1,000 now for tax. I can't.
You can make your public comment when you want to.
Okay, I'm not.
Okay, no problem.
No, it's okay. What you call, and I'm just saying, you know, she's going to me. I'm going up from 900 total to over $2,100. Now, how is a person who's on a set income going to afford $1,200 more? I want the politicians to look into this. This is ridiculous. We're on set incomes. She said to me, "But what am I supposed to do?" You heard the lady last week. She has to put things off now if she's going to afford to pay the property tax. Was she not going to take her medication? Or pay her other bills? You know, it's coming down to this type of situation. That's why you're seeing for sale signs going up in Schuylkill County, right and left. And I don't care what anybody says, realtors from out of state are coming in, buying these homes, fixing them up, and then charging outrageous rates for people to live in those homes. This is ridiculous. Honest people that work their whole life, they need a break. They need to know that the government is actually working for the people. They're not working for the people. I don't care who. I've talked to Argo, I have talked to Towards it so many times, it's not even funny. My friend wants me to go down to see Shapiro. He thinks that I'm afraid to talk. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. They are supposed to work for the people. They're working against the people. That's what the problem is. These guys are making triple figures, and they don't understand people that are under the poverty level are the ones that are getting hurt the most.
Hi, George.
Okay, and that's where, and it happens all the way from the presidency all the way down. They don't understand. Thank you.
Laura Krasnowski, Pottsville. I'm going to read very quickly because we have a human stopwatch. Uniformity of Pennsylvania Constitution, Chapter 8, Section 1 says, the uniformity of taxes, all taxes shall be uniform upon the same class of subjects. I timely notified the city of Pottsville that ABOCA codes and the international property maintenance codes were being violated. When the city failed to do something, it was on me to go to the county tax assessor's office and report it to the county tax assessor's office. I reported it to the county tax assessor's office. They went out and measured and he concluded that there were in fact building enlargement additions being done without building and zoning permits. Okay, the workers, excuse me, Title 53, Chapter 88, Section 61, subsection 8861, submission of permits and substantial improvement information to the county assessor's office and civil penalty. Okay, so the county assessor's office, when they went out and measured, said, yes, this is in fact going on. And I said last week that the county had a duty to file an action in mandamus because you have a financial interest in the taxation, the value of properties throughout the county. It was easy to get away with it when you didn't have assessment appeals for 20 years. But what happened is no public official who was notified that BOCA codes and international property maintenance codes were being violated took any action. So when the city failed to respond and the county did not comply with Title 53, Chapter 88, section 61, subsection 8861, non-compliance, I ended up having to file an action in the Court of Common Pleas. But what the county did do at that time was the county decided that they were going to remove acreage from my property and lower my taxes based on a survey that I had submitted. The county responded by making the acreage change and removing ground from my property and reassessing my taxes. Had the county complied with Title 53, Chapter 88, Section 61, subsection 8861, the matter would have been timely resolved. Instead, after I filed the motion in the Court of Common Pleas, Judge Russell basically looked at me and said, you must pay your taxes and we'll deal with this later. Well, we were allowed to not deal with it for 10 years because we didn't have a reassessment. So she looks at me and says, but you have to pay your tax, we'll deal with it later. 10 years later, it still has not been dealt with. I contacted 3 separate tax appraisers, real estate appraisers, and all 3 said, we cannot find a property to compare it to so that we could come up with a valuation. All 3 sides of the rear of my property are encroached on. My building has been basically attached onto. My exterior wall is being used as the interior wall of somebody else's property. And nothing has been done by law. I mean, the law really clearly read what the county was supposed to do, but the tax assessor's office no longer knows what their responsibilities are. Just as the recorder of deeds, do you want me to shut up? He says
You
shut up.
can finish your statement.
Thank you very much.
I didn't say shut
He
up.
did not tell
No,
you to shut up. He did
Well,
not tell you to shut
basically,
up.
basically, that's what that means. When you say you're done,
You say
just
you're
sit
done.
down and shut
Well,
up.
listen, instead of arguing,
I'm
finish
trying-
your statement.
I'm trying
Okay,
to.
there you go.
Yeah. Because, okay, so, well, now you've completely discombobulated the thoughts.
No, you
But
did.
the bottom line is that nobody is really apparently complying with the law. Nobody seems to remember what the duties were of these offices when they were set up. If the tax assessor's office does not know that it has a duty to file an action in mandamus, when anybody in the county comes in and says to the tax assessor's office, there are building enlargements and additions going on without permits, you have a duty to act. And as a matter of fact, it's supposed to come down, and I believe it's the Department of Labor and Industry is supposed to come in and verify that all of these things are in fact being corrected. Because you have a financial interest in these properties, you float bonds on them, and supposedly you're fairly collecting revenue. I'm here to tell you, you're not fairly collecting revenue, and it's going to be very interesting to see what the courts do with this. Thank you.
Any other public comment? If you want to go, sir.
Yes.
You want-
I'm not as detailed as this woman was.
Just state your name.
My
and your
name is Thomas Curry, and I live on property 13 Mill Creek Avenue, Pottsville. I would like to know how they did this reassessment, raising my property taxes as much as they did, up to $207,000. With the properties that set down below me, I would never, ever sell my home for $207,000. It's an 1,100 square acre, or 11, whatever,
Square feet.
1,800 acres, or square footage.
Square foot.
2-bedroom home. And they brought that price in at $207,000. I've been fighting cancer for Christ's sakes. I'm on Social Security disability. How the hell can I afford to pay another $1,000 a year on property taxes? And there's a lot of other people in that same predicament right now in Schuylkill County. This is a very depressed area. You go to rent homes, people can't even rent homes. They're over $1,200 to rent an apartment for some kid. This is ridiculous. Who were these people that come in here to do this reassessment? They weren't even from our area. And you did this at a high price when all housings were going up. It was very unfair to all the people in Schuylkill County for what you've done. And it'll never go back down. You will keep it there, and people are going to lose their damn properties. And that's exactly what I think is want to happen.
No, you're completely wrong.
I don't feel that way.
Completely wrong.
You know, you walk my street.
No, wait, hold on. Not one commissioner here wants you to lose your property.
I'm scared to death to lose my house.
This,
I mean, seriously, sir.
The county was sued into this reassessment. And
Sue.
yes, there's we've said this 1,000 times. A company is a nonprofit out of Philadelphia is suing counties into reassessment because the state has not fixed this problem. Counties were the last state in the entire country that has not fixed reassessment. Counties are being sued because, well, actually, Lisa brought it up about the uniformity of taxation. Like certain areas being spot appealed and not appealed, people's property taxes values are all over the place and around the whack, and they shouldn't be because we haven't done a reassessment in 30 years.
Okay, so
But there's nobody I want everybody to be in their home. If it was up to me, I'd eliminate it. If I had the power to do it, I'd do it on a sales tax or something, or find a way to lessen the burden on your property tax, because I believe you should own your property free and clear.
okay. So they put a 3 mil tax on us last year, right before they knew that they're going to raise the taxes on us. So that's 3 mils we had to pay there, plus our taxes. Mine are going up $1,000. Well, how can I
But that's
afford
not
that?
just all the county.
And then you hear people that have like newer homes, their property taxes are going down. Now I don't understand that. I take care of my property, I keep it nice. But can't you go up Nickel Street there, where I live, up above the hill, I live on Mill Creek. Them houses are dilapidated. Nothing's being done to that. The weeds are growing out of the sidewalks around telephone poles. All the properties are terrible. And now they're telling me that my house is worth $207,000. I would never sell it for that with those properties.
Did you put down the file for a formal appeal?
I did, sir.
Okay. And that's what we're telling you. If you don't think it's right, do the formal appeal.
And then
Take pictures around the property. If you're saying that's how the properties are around you, take pictures of it. If you have a recent appraisal, if you've got a bank loan or a HELOC, or if you got anything and you have a recent appraisal within the last 3 years, they'll look at that. Take as much information as you possibly can to make the argument that your value is less.
And based what you said to me, don't we pay somebody in that office down there to go around and find these people that don't take care of their properties?
That's not the county. The city does. Laura, the city, if it's possible, it's the city. They have their own zoning plan, they have all their own code enforcement. The county doesn't have code enforcement, like municipalities. That's a city issue. We cannot make the city, Laura, I'm not gonna argue with you if we can.
Okay.
You had your public comment. You had your public comment. We cannot oversee what they're mandating by law that possibly we can.
I had something and I forgot what I was going to say.
Listen, nobody's happy about this. My taxes are going up. I don't want anybody's taxes to go up. Nobody does. We were sued into this. I completely disagree with.
How does the lawsuit fit into this?
These, because we were ordered by a judge to do the full reassessment. We were ordered by a court order, we entered into an agreement with the courts because we were sued. And they were, because the county hadn't done a reassessment in 30 years.
But at the highest prices of housings that were up,
But
they
that's
did
what-
this reassessment.
Listen, I understand that completely, and that's why I'm an advocate for counties should do a reassessment every 4 years. Because that way, if say the market drops, you catch that. If you wait another 30 years and say this is the highest point values of the property,
Market
and say it
drop.
drops down, it just stays high no matter what.
You can't even get a realtor to come in and reassess your property to fight this thing.
Appraised.
Or an appraiser, yes. You call them, you don't get them. Because you know what? Everybody's going after them and nobody has the time to come in and do that.
That's why with this appeal process is a administrative appeal. It's not our normal appeal process every year, so they'll take more things into consideration. The boards will take in location, pictures, if I'm right, Chrissy, an appraisal for the last 3 years. If a bank appraisal, if you got a home equity line of credit, they did an appraisal. They'll take a lot more stuff into consideration at these appeal boards than in a normal appeal year.
In 2010, up until now, my taxes went up $300. Now, I don't understand that, nothing done to the home. The house was given to me from my grandfather when he passed away, but yet my taxes went up. And now they're going up again. They raised it for the 3 mil.
Yep.
That was illegal, because they turned around and raised it now again for this reassessment.
No,
That should have never been allowed.
No, that's not true.
Tom, that's not,
That's not true?
No.
no, your time is
I'm
up.
sorry.
Okay. No, hold on. The county cannot raise there were no taxes raised. They were raised in 2025,
2024.
2024, 3 months. They're not, in 2026, when we do our budget in 26, we're capped. We cannot take in, if we take in $10 million in 2024, during a reassessment year, we're still gonna take in exactly $10 million.
But they took me 3 million.
I-
And now it's gonna be another grand they're taking off of me.
Well, yeah, but okay, not gonna, so if you're paying 1,000 more, that means somebody around you or homes around you are paying a little less. Because of.
So
I know it's not-
I'm paying
hold
for
on.
theirs, is what
I
you just
know.
told me.
No, you're not paying theirs. It's on what the value of the properties are assessed at. The county, the municipality, and the school district, during a reassessment year, will take in the exact same levy. The amount of money they took in 2025 is exactly what we'll take in 2026.
So they appraised my house versus the ones up in Pineview, up above?
I don't know how.
Those brand new homes?
No, they might have went up. I don't know. Some people, like over in Smockwood, there's people that went down. Some people that went up. It's all over the place.
Well, tell me that when I'm living under a bridge.
I hope you're not.
It's gonna happen, because between medical bills, with my wife, now she may be dealing with cancer, and I'm only getting social security disability. How the hell do I afford it?
Sorry, sir. Any other public comment? Jeff, Shirley wants to go.
No, go ahead.
And Shirley, microphone, she's in medical office.
I don't need the mic. Greg Lucas didn't have it the other week and Tatum and.
Okay, but just-
So I don't need it. Thank
Okay.
you. Shirley Wagner from Joliet. Since the reassessment has been the talk of the last few months of all the meetings. Last week, Commissioner Fedora stated that the problem, as I took his inference, the problem lies in Harrisburg. So I took it upon myself to call Harrisburg. And you are correct, Pennsylvania is the only state that doesn't have a term limit. However, I was also told it is the discretion of the Board of Commissioners to assign or request a reassessment at any point in time. And how often they want to do it. Perhaps, your predecessors didn't want a tax assessment attached to their name for possible political aberration,
You know, 30 years ago.
or maybe on the advice of council, or maybe they just didn't want the tax reassessment attached to their name, who knows? So here we are, 30 years later, trying to figure out how to move forward and retain our properties. Meanwhile, all the property owners in Schuylkill County suffer because the occupants of those seats did not want a reassessment on their watch. Had at least just one reassessment been done over time, perhaps this huge increase wouldn't have fallen on all the property owners now. The ultimate measure of a man or a woman is not where they stand in moments of comfort and controversy or convenience, but it is at times of challenges. So in conclusion, one must take the position that is neither safe, political, or popular, but take the position that is right. Lightning makes no sound until it strikes. Thank you.
And surely that's why I'm an advocate for doing it every 4 years. 4 to 5 years seems to be what every other state does, that I've found.
Well,
Some do a rolling thing, they do a third of the county one year, they do a third of the county another year, they do a third of the county another year. But overall, it's a 4 or 5 year process. And, you know, the only reason I'm saying Harrisburg needs to fix it is, they leave us up to get sued, but they don't offer us any funding for it, they don't offer us anything. They go, here you go, deal with it, like they do everything.
But it still remains at the discretion of the
And
county
I am-
commissioners, and I'm not faulting this board entirely. You have had many boards before you, men and women of different political parties. It didn't matter who was there.
Because reassessment, because of the time frame that you wait to do it, has a stigma around it that it's a bad, reassessment's bad, it raises your taxes. Reassessment's bad if you wait 30 years. Reassessment, like up in Lackawanna County, they waited 50 years to do a reassessment. Lancaster County is now doing it, I think every 5 years. Lancaster County took it upon themselves that every 5 years, Lancaster County is doing a reassessment. And after this reassessment's over, we have a lot on our plate now. I want to explore that we'll do a reassessment every 4 to 5 years. I want to meet with the school districts to make sure nobody's spot assessment, the county will do a reassessment, but I don't want any spot assessments. Because the spot assessments are what threw everything completely out of whack, and we got sued, because the ratios were all over the place from one area of county to another area of county, like homes weren't taxed the same amount. So that's why I'm advocating for it being fixed. I have a meeting tonight at 6:00, a meeting where some of our state legislators and our senator, and I'm bringing this up again to them, that this needs to be fixed. And that counties need alternate sources of revenue.
So have any of the board of commissioners in the last 30 years took it upon themselves, strapped on the set and made the decision to reassess, we wouldn't be in this position today. And that's only my opinion. Thank you.
Correct, sure, it was kicked down the road.
I
I
agree.
got here 2020, it was kicked down the road. The can was kicked down the road. Nobody wants to reassess because of the guy.
I'm tired of cans getting kicked
No,
down.
I
Well,
like-
I'm saying, you're correct.
And I agree, it needs, I'm taking a very hard look at trying to make this cyclical, because that way nobody will have a heavy increase in their value at one time, they won't have a heavy increase in their taxation at the levy at one time. If you do it every 4 or 5 years, and you'll catch, if the market goes down, you'll catch the ebbs and flows of the market. So, yeah, trust me, I've learned so much about reassessment in a year and 7 months more than I want to. But I agree, Shirley. Any other public comment?
Morning, Jeff.
Jeff Dunkel, Palo Alto. Appreciate you doing that moment of silence for Mr. Sheeran. He was a great employee and great community member, fire chief, so on. Nobody had the decency to recognize him when he retired from the county, so I guess now that he passes, we're gonna recognize him, but may he rest in peace. He was a good man. No update on Lisa Stevens.
Nope.
See, Gaffney was in the building. Must be another tour for some summer group or something. She could be here to explain herself about her claim on FMLA, why she works less than 100 hours a week. It often seems like it's the final round of the home run derby up there. If you watch
Final
that.
round of what?
Final round of the home run derby. If you watch that, you'll know what it means. But moving on to the reassessment, these people that are speaking, it's mind blowing. Relation to your property up there by Pine View Acres, I know somebody up there that, a couple people that have properties that spoke out to me that theirs went up more than $200,000 in value. One gentleman, his went up $2,400 just in taxes. Some people have their properties listed at over 600,000 that they wouldn't even be able to get 300,000 to 400,000. It's mind blowing. I have a property that went from 19,000 being taxed at to 187,000. Another one of 5,000 went up to 90,000. They snuck through this 50% taxation to 100% taxation. These didn't even advertise it properly. Had to be rushed through at the end. So now everybody's getting, let me finish. Everybody's getting taxed on 100% of your property, which you might not even know that.
I do know that.
Okay. So it used to be
Okay,
taxed.
but once again,
Let me
stop,
finish.
no, I can stop. Yes, you're being taxed 100% of the value, but the millage rate, Jeff's advocating we go to 50% of the value. So say, hold on, no, it's not that. The taxation is the value of the property. If we did 50%, say we did 50%, say the county millage is gonna drop down to 4 mills after the reassessment. If we do 50%, the county millage will drop to 8 mills.
Correct.
That's all that means, is the adjustment of the millage rate.
Correct.
Okay.
But you're still taxed at 100% of that property value moving forward.
But
For
if
any
it-
raises from 2026 to.
Then a mill's
to the end
worth
of time.
more. Like if the county
Okay.
needs, like we needed in 2000.
And the properties are valued outrageously more.
2024. we
You
needed
can
that-
keep giving
I
it,
know.
listen, you can
Jim,
keep giving.
and that's the fact.
Now, will you
Just
let me
like
talk?
Jeff-
Will you let me talk?
Just like what Lee.
Why do you keep cutting people off? You're just like him.
No, I'm not, Jeff. You don't like anybody to counter anything you said.
Do it at the end.
No, I don't want
That's
to.
the way it used to be
It's
done.
called an
Oh, it's your
interaction.
meeting now, just like he used to say.
No, it's
My
an
meeting.
interaction. Then.
Okay.
But that's
Well,
what
then
you said. No, hold on. You
Why
want
don't
an
you wait?
interaction.
Why don't you wait till the end?
Your big complaint.
Everybody was always at the end.
Jeff, your big complaint was nobody answered me, nobody talked to me, nobody would respond to me. You tried to.
32 days. How about that email 32 days ago?
Tim Barr said he's gonna respond to. I don't know the answers. Paul Dottie said he's gonna to Tim Barr.
And it wasn't sent to Tim Barr. It was you and Paul Dottie 32
Well,
days
they
ago.
said that you sent an email to Tim Barr about it. So, but you
It
said
was you.
you want an interaction. You want answers.
Go ahead, answer.
Yeah, and you do.
You just did. And I countered it.
And like, you bring stuff up, like you bring up Teresa.
Yes.
The only person in a year and 7 months that have complained about Teresa Kaplan has been you.
Oh, listen. Listen.
Okay,
Listen.
but-
Listen. There is a lot of people.
Okay.
A lot of people. She works. Listen.
Jeff,
Anybody. Listen.
Jeff,
Any
Where
taxpayer.
is the paperwork that you said you
Listen,
would bring me that we can?
I already told you what it was.
No, you said you were bringing me.
And I told Mr. Dottie what it was. And Shelby, and when Shelby was here.
You said you were gonna.
Yeah. But you just have to worry about covering up the right to knows with Shelby that was already submitted. We won't get into that. Yeah, we won't get into those right to knows that are filed and going through the courts. But wait till people find out about that. So anyway, back to the reassessment. Mr. Hetherington was on record saying it could have been fought for $100,000. Instead, we spend 7.5. It'll probably end up being $10 million. So it could have been fought for $100,000. Maybe kick the can down the road like you do with everything else. That could have been maybe get the property values on the dip that you're talking about. Or maybe you could have made an agreement with the courts that, hey, we're going to do it on the property values before the inflated properties went up. Just an idea.
I
But,
didn't have the opportunity to do that.
and I know you weren't here, 100%, but there were other people here. And the can was kicked down the road, 100%. And now the people on fixed income, social security, disability, they're the ones, they are going to lose their homes. And I hear, I'll bet you I had 200-300 phone calls and messages in the last 3 weeks. Nobody can understand those forms. They're worried about losing their homes. They're making decisions, and it's tough. Mr. Barr says at a public meeting that on July 1st, the property, you're going to be able to view your neighbor's properties and do comparisons, and you can bring that to the hearing. That's the impression I was under, right? You were at the same meeting. Now you can't do that. You can't bring neighborhood valuations in. It has to be sales of properties that were nearby during an inflated housing market. So when I have a house that's at 187,000 now, and everybody else on my block has more square footage and more acreage, and is $60,000 to $70,000 less, I know it's because I get up here every week and talk. Because, okay,
100%.
then if somebody can explain that to me,
It's not.
but I can't.
Listen.
So now listen, now I can't go to a meeting or a formal appeal and use that. Because I have to use any tax or any property sales. I can't use the evaluation that he specifically said on record, I have the meeting recorded, that July 1st, the neighborhood properties, you'd be able to look at your neighbors, you were at the same meeting, Larry, and that we would be able to use that. So again, that it's nonsense, this whole thing is for uniformity, as everybody claims. Wouldn't it be uniform to have my whole block relatively within the same ballpark? I'm $60,000 to $70,000 more than every other place. There's a gentleman with 200 more square foot and about a quarter more acre, and he's $77,000 less than me. Make it make sense. I'm just gonna continue.
I'm sorry, I'll let you finish your statement.
You know, the older people are scared, or they can't afford it. Some people are,
And we're reaching out to all
it's funny, I guess.
I'm reaching out, I'm trying to get the information out. I don't know how else to do it. We could put it in the senior centers, we're sending it to all the veterans places. It was mailed out to everybody. I'm trying to get it out there as much as I possibly can.
I get it, but you know, these people can't afford a $200 increase, but then it's gonna cost $2,000 to get an appraiser or a lawyer. You're saying that you don't need a lawyer, but then you're also saying you're able to use your neighborhood properties, and now you can't do that. So if you do all the research, you can't even take that with you. These lawyers and appraisers are cashing in left and right on these people, the vulnerable people, and it's just not fair.
Well, they shouldn't be doing it.
I mean,
Mr. Barr will be here next week.
Yeah,
he should be here every week during this thing, because you guys are taking the brunt of it.
Verify that statement about the neighborhood stuff.
Yeah,
I have it in an email from yesterday. I can show it to you.
He'll be here next week.
Came right from him. But the gentleman's right about the housing market. According to a realtor I spoke to, it's the highest amount of rentals on the MLS department, MLS website, in over a decade in
It's
Schuylkill
the
County.
price you're
I do,
paying.
and that's why they are.
I just can't.
But if people can't afford that, they're not gonna be able to afford to stay in their homes. I said 2 years ago, in 2028, 2029, the tax sale list for the county is gonna be sky high because everybody's gonna lose their properties.
I hope that's one.
Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Morning, Melinda.
Morning, Tom. Melinda Dybert, North Manheim Township. Okay, let's hit on the row officers, not at the courthouse, as of around, I don't know, 9:45 this morning. Noticeably absent our recorder of deeds and our clerk of courts for the county. Maybe some of the other row officers, except for Sharon, are only showing up on Wednesdays when the commissioners' meetings are held. I don't know. I will say taxpayers and voters of the county are tired of this. How many of us can show up maybe part-time or not at all for our jobs and still receive a full-time paycheck and benefits? I dare say not too many people can do that. We are sick and tired of it. Bottom line, if you want me to shut up, then you need to show up. Now, especially with this reassessment and everybody getting hit with, not everybody, but most everybody getting hit with higher taxes coming down the pike. Why can we not even still now go back and pull sales comps from 2018 and 2019? It's my understanding we're using sales comps for 2021, 22, and 23. Is that correct? Okay. The absolute highest artificially inflated sales comps. So again, my question, can we not go back and just pull the sales comps from 18 and 19 and maybe throw those in there and take out, I would say definitely take out 2021, because that's when we have a ton of New York and New Jersey people, especially New York, coming down. Massachusetts, a Boston couple bought a house in I think I've told you about this before, bought a shimmy shack in our neck of the woods. Maybe should have gone for $100 grand. It went for over $300,000. So that is one of the sales comps that's going to be used in my so-called neighborhood when somebody goes to try to do a formal appeal. Can we not go back? Isn't that just a matter of like punching a few strokes on the keyboard and pulling up the 18 and 19 values and putting those into the mix instead of just going with 21, 22, and 23 sales comps? Can we not do that now?
I don't know what the answer is.
Sure, but so if you have a certain value, a certain village, if you lower the value, it looks up. It's a sliding scale.
No, Boots, you're not getting what I'm saying. When people show up for these formal appeals, they are supposed to be taking into account comparable sales, comparable to their own property, square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms, and then lot size, etc. They're supposed to be preferably pulling from their own neighborhood within a 1 mile radius of their home. If you're looking at sales comps during the COVID years, that's when property values were the highest. Real estate agents now will even tell you that the market is starting to bottom out now. It's starting to level off. This is 2025.
I don't know about that. Just looking at it. Right, they're high. Go ahead, finish your statement.
All I'm asking is that aren't there like maybe a couple of variables or things that we can look at to try to make things, normal? A little bit more normal? Because I'm telling you, looking at those values, that's when everything was the highest. And that's what our properties are being judged against, those sales. Another thing for appraisers. Appraisers are going to make out hand over fist on this. Could the county could you guys please try to set up something where you have an approved list of appraisers? It's my understanding, and y'all will correct me if I'm wrong, but it's my understanding if you go to do an appraisal, it's around $500, somewhere in that ballpark. Could we not try to have a list of appraisers, approved appraisers, who would be willing to cut that fee in half to maybe around $250 to make it a little bit easier for some of these folks on a fixed income and senior citizens to be able to even afford to do an appraisal?
Won't even get an appraisal, right? I've called 3 or 4 times, no call back.
Okay.
You're that busy, you're not even gonna get one.
Wow. Talk about job security. Amazing. Okay, one other thing I'm going to throw out there, which people may not be aware of. There is something called a comparative market analysis, a CMA. And it's my understanding, so you might want to look into this, sir, that a CMA can be done for around $100, maybe less. But a CMA, what that does is it puts your property into the system, and they try to pull 3 relatively recent sales, preferably within the last 6 months, within a 1 mile radius of your property, just to see if your reassessed value is somewhere in the ballpark of those recent sales. So it's called a CMA. It's a comparative market analysis, and it's my understanding that agents like realtors can do that. It does not have to be a certified appraiser to conduct that for you. So
Sites of your house for sale up the street from my house go for 117,000. How the hell do you go from 117
Okay.
to 207?
It's not a debate, okay?
Okay.
I just wanted to put that out there because I'm not sure if the public is aware of that avenue. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Nope. We move on with the meeting. Grant writers.
Morning, Ronnie.
Here to request to advertise for a CDBG street rehab project in Butler Township. Bids will be done via pen bid. It must be submitted by 9 a.m. on Wednesday, August 13th, at which time it will be open. Also request to advertise for a CDBG street rehab project in the borough of Shenandoah. Bids will be done via pen bid and also on the same day and will be open. Third one, also request to advertise for a CDBG drainage project in the borough of McAdoo on the same day. Request to advertise for demolition projects in Gerardville, Tamaqua, Shenandoah, and St. Clair. Bids are due in the Controller's office on Monday, August 11th at 4 p.m. and the bid opening will take place on Wednesday, August 13th with the other Penn bid ones. Approved a 3-year contract with B&B Environmental for asbestos assessments at a cost of $450 for residential properties and $550 for non-residential properties. The contract will run from July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2028. Award a contract in the amount of $210,482 to Recreation Resource LLC for a CDBG project at the Willow Street Park in Schuylkill Haven. And last, approve a revision to the 2021 CDBG program, moving $18,483 from the Minersville demo line item to the Minersville housing rehab line item.
Thank you. No probation?
Morning, Commissioner.
Sir.
CG Beganski, adult probation. We have 2 items on the agenda for your approval. The first is an approval for a contract with Pennsylvania Counseling Service Incorporated to provide counseling services as described for a period of 1 year, beginning August 1st, 2025 through July 31st, 2026. And this is for sex offender counseling, and the price menu is attached. Our second contract we're asking approval on is a contract with Ally Universal Electronic Monitoring US Incorporated to provide electronic monitoring services as described for a period of 2 years, beginning August 1st, 2025 and ending August 1st, 2027.
This is for the ankle monitor.
Yes,
And is this the company from Florida?
I'm not certain exactly where they're from.
Okay.
CJ, about how many do we have on?
30 offenders currently on house arrest.
Thank you.
Good morning. Helen Zorski for Children and Youth. We have 4 items today. An addendum to the agreement with United Charities, Inc., West Hazelton, PA, dated August 27th, 2024, extending its term period to include fiscal year 25-26 at current rates and terms with an end date of June 30th, 2026. An addendum to the agreement with Guide Spring, Inc., Milton, PA, dated September 11th, 2024, extending its term period to include 25-26 at current rates and terms with an end date of June 30th, 2026. An addendum to the agreement with Kids Peace National Centers, Inc., Schnecksville, PA, dated June 28th, 2023, to adjust a rate and include fiscal year 25-26. This addendum adjusts the rate for Kids Peace Residential Treatment, PRTF, to $700 per diem and amends the end date to June 30th, 2026. And lastly, approval of an agreement with Tegna Broadcast Holding LLC, doing business as WNEP TV for foster parent recruitment advertising. Terms include 20 commercials monthly on WNEP television stations at $3,730 per month, with a total contract cap of $44,760, with a term of September 1st, 2025 to August 31st, 2026. Thank you.
Office of Senior Services.
Brian Campbell with Office of Senior Services. We're asking for approval of an addendum with Wyomissing Behavioral Analyst of Harrisburg, PA, to extend the contract in fiscal year 25-26 until December 31st, 2026. The rates will remain the same as fiscal year 24-25 for psychological evaluations, diagnostic testing, interviews, behavior assessments, and court testimony. The contract cap will be reduced from $37,880 to $37,876.
Drug and alcohol.
Morning.
Morning.
John Reed, Drug and Alcohol, on behalf of Elaine Gilbert. We are asking the approval of a contract with Chore Youth and Family Services Incorporated out of Reading, Pennsylvania, for the period of July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026, to provide the Schuylkill County Nurse Family Partnership Program with a contract cap of $577,204. Also, the approval of a contract with Schuylkill Community Action, Pottsville, PA, for the period of June 1st, 2025 to August 31st, 2025, to provide a prevention education event Schuylkill Community Action will partner with the Schuylkill County Drug and Alcohol Prevention Team to facilitate the Summer Blast Program with a contract cap of $28,010. Approval of the agreement with Service Access and Management Incorporated, Reading, Pennsylvania, for the period of July 1st, 2025, to June 30th, 2026, to assist the county with the operations of the drug and alcohol sort housing program with a contract cap of $118,000. Requesting approval of the following addendums for the list of providers who are extending the expiration date for 6 months from June 30th of 2025 to December 31st of 2025. As per the extension modification agreement, all other current terms, conditions, services, and rates will be continued through the period of this extension. And those providers are Center for Community Resources Incorporated, Child Development Incorporated, Polk County Wellness, doing business as First Aids Network and Schuylkill Wellness Services, Lehigh Valley Hospital Schuylkill Counseling Center, this is for their Healthy Life Skills Group contract, New Roots Incorporated, Just Community Incorporated, also includes an updated Appendix B, which I just recently found out that they, we were just notified that they actually closed their doors as of June 30th, so that contract will not be going through. New Directions Treatment Services will also include added language as follows: for all services that's listed in their Appendix B, the initial authorization request for SCA funding must be entered into CPR web system no later than 7 days after the client's admission date in order to receive approval of SCA funding. For their following services, that's be limited as follows. Level 1.0 is outpatient services. They'll have an initial 3-month authorization request, which they can follow up by an additional 3 months reauthorization request. And the same level goes for level 2.1 intensive outpatient services. And we also, lastly, we have approval of the following list of providers who also are extending their expiration date for 6 months, and also as per the extension modification agreement, and all the other terms will be consistent and remain the same. And however, these providers will also increase their contract caps. So Child and Family Support Services, they increased their contract cap from $508,689.82 to $553,697.82. We have Geisinger St. Luke's Hospital increased their contract cap from $54,000 to $63,000. Sage Action Consulting will increase their contract cap from $53,500 to $74,000. Service Access and Management Incorporated, for their fiscal services, will increase their contract cap from $144,000 to $168,000. Pennsylvania Counseling Services Incorporated to increase their contract cap from $263,076 to $332,095. And lastly, Lehigh Valley Hospital Counseling Center for their in-depth vaping program to increase their contract cap from $19,542.72 to $29,537.85. And they will also include an updated Appendix B and Appendix E. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Today I'm seeking the approval for the change orders for the prison addition project for a smoke exhaust system as required by the Uniform Construction Code in the City of Schuylkill. D&M Construction Unlimited, the change order is $6,764.92 for a total contract amount of $691,764.92. And Energy Systems, their change order amount is $25,100 for a total contract amount of $124,100. And Alvarell Electric, their change order is $18,985.21, and their total contract amount will be $174,745.21.
Just a change of the project, or what was that?
Why, if this was part of the Uniform Construction Code, why wasn't this part of the bid?
Well, supposedly that there is already a smoke exhaust system, but with the addition, they wanted a new standalone that the city was requiring that in order for them to get their building permit.
So the city of Pottsville requirements.
And also part of the uniform construction code, yes. Yes, so I am told.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Treasurer's office.
Good morning, Commissioners. Just one quick other additional comment. As the treasurer, I've been helping taxpayers as well each and every day with answers, questions. Chrissy, correct me if I'm wrong, but the appeals have to be filed by April 11th. Appraisals need to be done by the date of your hearing.
August.
Or I'm sorry, August 11th. August 11th, and then your appraisals have to be done by the date of your hearing. They don't have to be done by August 11th, which I think is what putting everybody into a flurry.
They don't even need an appraisal.
And Christy's saying it's not mandatory for an appraisal, but it is an option. But I think the appraisers are getting inundated with phone calls thinking they have to have the calls and the appraisals done by the appeal date of August 11th, and they're not. So just wanted to clarify that. Sorry about the date, Chrissy. And then for the treasurer's report, for the account ending June 2025, ending balance in all accounts, $109,636,289.60.
Solicitor's office.
Nothing from the solicitor's office.
Finance office.
Just one item with the budget adjustment, commissioners, for the prison, and it has to do with the Teamsters contract, move the money appropriately to the accounts that they have their union contract.
Thank you. County Administrator.
On behalf of the Luzerne Schuylkill Workforce Development Board, approvals requested to accept the annual budget of the Luzerne Schuylkill Workforce Development Board on the recommendation by the Luzerne Schuylkill Workforce Development Board's Finance and Executive Committees. The Workforce Development Board accepted the projected budget for the program year term of July 1st, 25 to June 30, 2026, with a 7.36% increase over the program year budget of 2024. And also on behalf of SEDCO, approve a support letter to include Schuylkill County within the service area of Foreign Trade Zone 147. We understand that this means that the grantee, FTZ Corp. Of Southern Pennsylvania, will be able to apply to the Foreign Trade Zones Board for authority to serve sites located within Schuylkill County based on businesses' trade-related needs. We also note the zone will be made available on a uniform basis to companies within Schuylkill County in a manner consistent with the legal requirement that each FTZ be operated as a public utility. And immediate approval is requested to sign the support letter.
Make a motion for the SEDCO question. Second.
One question?
Commissioner Fedora?
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Human Resources.
Good morning, Commissioners. In the prison, we had the transfer of Joseph Corrali, a correction officer, full-time from part-time. As per the contract, effective 7/14/25 at the hourly rate 25.4380. In children and youth, the promotion of Patricia Sleeve at clerk typist 3, the rate is 18.4613, effective 7/1/25, coming from clerk typist 2. 3 items in the Office of Senior Services. 2 are appointments. Amy Newton and Claudia Moyer, both as aging care manager 3s, both at the rate of 19.72. Newton is effective 8/11/25, and Moyer is effective 8/18/25. The rate is per the contract. And the last senior services is the rescission of Catherine Wysaki's appointment as aging care manager 2, effective 7/14/25. One informational item in the clerk reports the promotion of Luann Boudreau to clerk tapestry, effective 7/21/25 from clerk 2. All appointments pending drug test and physical where appropriate, and all actions involving salary or for positions being created are pending salary board approval. That is all.
So a motion on the 4 things only. It was 4 appointments and only. Mention.
I'll just make that motion. Second.
On the question.
I thought we we're just doing a motion on the motion.
Is it just the prison or all?
Just.
Okay, so motion just on the prison.
Make a motion that we do the promotion for prison. Second.
On the question.
Commissioner Fedora,
Yes.
Commissioner Heatherington,
Yes.
and Commissioner Hess.
Yes.
Any new business from the board?
I do.
Go ahead, Jen.
I'd just like to make an announcement that I did a bid opening this morning for the cycling and the fall cleanup, and it will be awarded next week to 23rd.
Any other new business?
Motion to adjourn.
Salary, Board of the executive sessions,
There were none held.
public comment for salary board.
Melinda Diver, North Manheim Township. Okay, so if we could please, could I get some sort of affirmation that the commissioners are going to at least try to look into what I had suggested previously, perhaps adding 2018 and 2019, which would be considered pre-COVID sales comps, and removing 2021 sales comps to at least try to normalize the values a little bit. Can we get some sort of like that?
I think I did bring this up to them once, but I can't remember the answer to this.
It seems like it would be pretty simple. Like I said, just kind of like pulling up the numbers and then feeding them into your little equation or whatever. That doesn't seem like it would be that difficult.
Lots of things that are supposed to be simple turn out to be difficult.
Well, I'd like to hear the reason why and why it can't be done. Because the thing about it is, we're being hit with a double whammy right now. Not only did we wait 30 years to do a reassessment, we're doing it when the housing sales, the market was out the wazoo. So absolutely a double whammy. And anything that we can do at this late stage of the game to try to neutralize that a little bit. I think if the homeowners, the property owners get a feeling that the commissioners are doing their due diligence and trying to do what you can to look at some of these values and to help people out, I think that would go a long way. Also, do we know if maybe Tim Barr could schedule some sort of informational session to go over the paperwork and let homeowners know what they need to do in going forward with a formal appeal? I know that he had already scheduled things previously. I believe there was one at Blue Mountain, Pine Grove, Pottsville. I'm not sure where all else.
No Schuylkill.
More Schuylkill, okay. Not sure how well those things were attended. I guarantee you now, if he was to schedule something, it'd be gangbusters. Be busting at the seams with people because just like Jeff stated, and I know Chrissy is getting bombarded day in and day out, people don't know. They feel intimidated with the process, ill-equipped, I guess. They don't know exactly how to go about doing this. So I guarantee you, people will probably be hanging on Tim Barr's every word if he was to schedule some sort of informational session at this point. I know we're down to the wire on this with the August 11th date looming, but okay, Tim Barr had stated previously, and this is something that people need to pay attention to. He stated on the radio that there were over 92,000 properties, residential and commercial properties, which were reassessed in the county. Out of those 92,000 plus properties, only 3,400 people took the time to either call or schedule an appointment and sit down for an informal review with someone to go over their property information. That's sad, because let me tell you, I can guarantee you, there were changes that needed to be made on people's individual properties. The thing about it is, when people were mailed those informal review, the sheets, that did not have every single stitch of information on there. So by actually scheduling a meeting and going in with someone to go over your information, you can actually see, oh, no, we don't we don't have public sewer and water. Well, according to this, you do, or you have access to it. No, we don't. So, and that affects your assessed value. Little things like that, you might not think it means much, but it does.
That is why we're doing, I don't know what you would call it. We're letting people, if they didn't do their formal appeal and their information's wrong, we're letting them call in, before the person, explain how to do it. It's like a triage, but I don't know how to explain it.
What we're trying to do is, even if somebody files their paperwork for a formal appeal, and on there it says that they're doing it because they don't have a full finished basement, stuff like that. We're calling them, we're trying to get that fixed ahead of time. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna tell them what brought the value down. If they're happy with that value, at that time, they will sign a release that they're gonna withdraw the appeal because they're happy with that value. So we're trying to take care of any mistakes ahead of the appeal time and work it out with the homeowner and straighten it out that way.
So we're giving them like an opportunity to kind of.
We're trying to give them another
bite of the apple.
Right, because when Tim Barr was on WPPA, he was interviewed there on the radio, and he had stated that people could use that formal appeal process or time to sit down and go over their information and get it corrected. So it's good, Chrissy, if she's saying people are doing it ahead of time. That's great. Okay, thanks, Chrissy. Thanks, John.
Contact with us on these.
If you put stuff on your appeal form, that there's something wrong with it.
Chris, after the meeting, I was gonna ask you to get the gentleman's information and thing, and come over, see if we can take a look at it.
Just Uncle Palo Alto, just.
No, I got the third lot, full space.
Okay, hold on a second.
Just real quick, just to follow up with what Melinda said, I think it's imperative that the county somehow gets a meeting together, even if it's one and you can live stream it. See if the radio could be there, see if Josh would be there, live stream it. I think to get it out to the public, a lot of people do not understand these forms.
Oh, but Jeff, you say you get calls? I got a call, a lady from Schuylkill. She called me, yelled out of taxes. She was adding the two columns together.
A lot of people are.
And I said, no, that's wrong. And she didn't believe me, and the taxes were going down.
Right.
But she's like, no, you gotta add them together. I said, no, you don't, man.
Right, and when the clean and green ones are there, it's more confusing, and it's, a lot of people don't understand it, a lot of people are just throwing it by the
And
wayside.
then here is the pamphlet, just to show you. We're sending out this form with the pamphlet to all our senior centers and all our veterans. It's a pamphlet explaining more. And then it's a letter saying what it is, then it's the whole appeal form. And directions for the appeal form. So we're trying to get the information out to everybody, trying to tell them, make sure you appeal. If something's wrong, I encourage everybody to.
Right.
And so that's what we're trying to get out there.
No,
But
I think that's a great
I'll
thing, but,
talk to Tim about trying to.
I mean, if there could be something public, because, like I said, you might have had 200 people total at all those information sessions. I think you would have that through the door in 10 minutes.
Can I chime in on this a second? The other thing, keep in mind, just because somebody is going down, that person needs to be aware that even though it's going down, if their value is $205,000.
And they don't think it's right.
And it's only worth $180,000, they should still file that appeal to get even lower.
Like I tell everybody, if you think, take the taxation out of it. You think your value is wrong, no matter what it's doing over here. If you don't think you could sell your house today for that price. To an appeal, no matter.
Yeah, right. I had somebody show me a paper, theirs went down $700, but their property value.
Value went up.
Over $140,000 over what they think they could sell it for. So if you have to look at the value too, that's the main thing, because.
Main thing is the value.
Right, because moving forward, you're going to be taxed, and I don't argue about it, you're gonna be taxed at that 100% moving forward. So the property value is, and I know the home builders thing, but what I'm saying is, that's what you're gonna be taxed at moving forward.
So if you don't think that's right.
Right.
In any way, shape or form. That value, no matter what your taxes are doing.
I think it would be a great thing if you guys can get
I'll try.
some sort of session together, even if it's him
Even
doing
if
it,
it's just one and we do something.
even if it's him doing a Zoom thing in here.
Well, that's what I'm
I'm sure you
saying.
guys can come up with something, I think that would be good.
Yeah, we'll figure
All
it
right,
out.
thank you.
Any other public comment for salary board? Human resources.
Yes, commissioners, and showing you set salary for Patricia Sleva, clerk tax 3, the rate is 18.4613, effective 7/21/25. And two items in court administration, both wage adjustments. Julie Soto, law clerk, legal deputy administrator, $250 bi-weekly, effective 8/4/25. This is temporary. And a wage adjustment for Merrill Peterman, law clerk, $250 bi-weekly, effective 8/4/25, also temporary.
Any new business? Thank you.